the Wi-Fi? Do you need it?
Oh, so it looks like it's.
Oh yeah, that's true. Did she right?
Oh no, I'm already.
Are we on her? It start because it's on.
It says live, but so let me.
But is that the same link?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go to Patreon now.
Oh, and see.
Or real quick, you can always just resend this.
It says live, but so let me.
But is that the same?
Oh, so it must be somewhere. Huh? Oh yeah, we're live on Patreon.
Oh, cool.
My internet's going slow, that's why. So the question is, is there a way to see? Is there a way to see? Look, this is our test. So I don't know if there's a way to see, like.
Here, Sophia, hit the mute on there.
Oh no. No.
Because if you're working out the
no, it's on. We're live now.
I know y'all all in the cheat.
But I just didn't know if there's a way
the pre-show.
If there's a way to see like people talking
or like a chat.
One viewer.
Is
that you?
That's him, I think.
Oh, is that me?
Use the keyboard too?
Maybe.
And then
It was in my way.
Why the same way?
Thank you.
Or not say. Connection lost. The fuck?
Oh, and then
2 viewers. Hello.
Possibly go on our Instagram feed, post something on Instagram that we're going live on Patreon. Or I guess they already know. Does that make sense? I don't know. No?
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Let me see. I don't have pen.
Well, I already did a post earlier, so this needs to be like a video though, just saying, hey, we're going live on Patreon right now. Need his mouse to work.
Is that working?
No. Oh, now it's just connected. There we go.
Ooh.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going live with us to say, hey, we there.
Okay.
Oh, next time.
So now. Oh, that says. Oh, okay. Now I have the chat up. Hello, Carletta.
Hi.
And Red Truth. Hello. So, just so you know.
Hi. We're live on IG.
Maybe should you mute it? Should you maybe mute it there so we don't hear ourselves talking?
Okay, so yes, we are live, but we're about to get off of this live because we are live on Patreon. Is that the Happy Hour account?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to watch us live, you have to go to Patreon. This is one of the premium things that we're doing for some of our Patreon subscribers. Go ahead and show them kind of what the live setup looks like. So you're getting a different experience. And there's a live chat that's going to be happening and everything. And this is our first week of doing this. So, you know, you won't be late to the party if you start today or start next week or whatever. But we're so excited. And this is honestly, guys, to people who are watching in the live stream right now, Carletta and Red Truth. So basically, it's going to be a different setup soon. This is just our test setup. So anyway.
And tell us how you like it.
Yeah, tell us how you like it. So we're definitely excited to do this, and you'll get to see all of our expressions and faces. And yeah, we're about to go live. So everybody, if you didn't catch that in the happy hour, we're about to go live on Patreon. So make sure you go to Patreon right now. And www.patreon.com/happyhour_TV. And then you can watch us live because we won't be going live on here today. So that was a little pre-show. And now it's time to start the show. Bye, guys. Yay! So far, so good. Okay.
Oh, do we have VIPs?
No, it's just that's this.
Okay.
This episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Airplane. Lizard. What's that?
What did Funda Pharrell say? She said, "Hey guys, hello." And if you, I believe, if you click for those who might be watching straight from the Patreon feed, if you click the link, it will take you to the actual YouTube page, and then there's like a live chat that's happening there, and there's some viewers in here.
I got the mic. Will, can you hear this fine? Okay. It's a little trash.
Can you hear me? Do you have
My
the?
breath probably kicking.
My breath is kicking. I'm
Okay.
hungry.
All right. Cool.
Okay,
I'm gonna run down the topic orders and then we'll get started. Right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go Supreme Court nominee.
Will, do you have a pen?
You can use it, but don't try to step off. Is that my paper last week, Will?
It looks like it.
Yo, when I got into the studio, why were communities getting it? They were like listening to music like it was a club in here.
But I was like, wait,
really?
Will, I was half listening because the song, I'm not sure. It says, what was the song?
Bad.
The chorus. It does that on the chorus.
But what? How's it go? What was it?
I do have to go to my free subscription to Tidal.
I forgot the part I was singing.
Right here.
It's a big behind. Hey.
Hey, you were bad. You were bad. Hey.
Hey. I don't even know this song, y'all.
We all know this song.
I know, but I used to be listening to some stuff that I forgot. Because y'all know out here I be
No, but
listening
this is the funny part. Where I was in life and where you were in life is totally different when this song came out. Because I was strolling to this in college.
Did you ever go to Freaknik?
Yeah.
No, I ain't. No, I wasn't. I was a kid.
I like how she was very clear.
Like I was a kid now.
LeBron. We're about to start the show, guys.
Miss
We're
America.
just locking the topics down.
New TV shows and Drake's album.
Cornelia said that we want to switch any of these out with Cardi B and her baby's name.
Or maybe add it to
Go ahead.
I'm talking about putting that one.
What's the last one?
Drake's new album. That's not gonna be long at all though.
You can throw it in there.
Yeah, we put it in there.
What else? It was
That's for the culture.
Wasn't other stuff in there?
It
was like other music artists you had in there. At least on the group me, you did.
Yeah, on the group me, not on this one though.
No.
Trust me, you guys, we always go over. We'll be fine. For the other thing, with the Brandy Monica, but we'll probably talk about it.
Oh, definitely. Oh, put that down.
That's during Essence Fest. Brandy Monica.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. All right, I'll start with the Supreme Court justice, and then we're just gonna have to wing it on everything else.
That's fine. Let me see what Kamara said. She said, what time in?
Go now.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I missed seeing you for happy. Oh, we're happy that you're here.
Well, you got the board up right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, board's ready. We're ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to go.
Wait, we can't do Marvin Gaye because it's YouTube and they might pull it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Ready, y'all?
Mm-hmm.
We're ready, Will.
All right. So in 3.
Oh, my bad, y'all. I have my headphones on. But I just thought about it. YouTube, since we're not doing mic system yet, they can't hear this yet. So whatever I play on here.
Right.
Oh, can they not hear?
Can we start on?
Yeah.
So, wait, this is gonna sound weird. If we plug in one of these into here, will they hear?
No, well, I'm not saying they need to hear. I'm just saying music-wise, they're not going to hear that.
But do they not even hear the intro or the outro?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good to know. Well, we're about to do the intro, which you guys will not hear, but we'll figure it out.
But should I do with music or not?
Do with music, because if it's not going to be
it's not going to be on there. Yeah.
And we haven't done that.
All right.
Okay.
We're ready when you are, Will.
All right, for sure. 3.
It's officially happy hour. I'm Sophia Stanley, joined by my elevated fellow conversational mixologist.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Emil and it's Junior.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Cornelia.
And guys, this is a very special episode for multiple reasons. First reason being, this is an hour-long episode. We weren't able to do the show last week because of 4th of July. We're giving you a full hour this week for our Patreon subscribers. We've talked about this. We said that as we continue to reach our goal amount, the goal is to eventually do longer episodes. So this is kind of a test and a tease of what you could get if we did a full hour long. Also, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's say Patreon. Patreon is a platform where you can help us out by becoming a monthly subscriber. You get different perks. For example, there are quite a few people who are watching us live right now. They can see all of our expressions. They can see what we're thinking, how we're feeling right in the live stream. There's a chat going on and everything. And that is one of the perks if you are a Patreon subscriber of a certain tier or above. So to check it out, go to patreon.com/happyhour_TV so you can look at all the perks and you can join us live. And last thing, we are live starting at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time,
which is 10 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to get right into it. We have not done an episode of the Cheeto Chronicles in a while. Honestly, partly because we were fatigued, but I think it is very necessary for us to be active citizens. And so the topic, or what we are talking about today, is the fact that Justice Kennedy has retired, and therefore giving Idiot Boy an opportunity to nominate a justice to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. The individual that he has chosen to nominate is Judge Kavanaugh, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, and we should be concerned for several reasons. First of which, he has said things to the effect that he believes that presidents should be untouchable, and should be immune from criminal or any wrongdoing. So in essence, he thinks they should be a dictator. Second of all, it is rumored that based on his past decisions, that he would presumably reverse Roe v. Wade and in essence take away a woman's right to choose and ownership over her own body. And lastly, in true 45 fashion, he's probably a racist, a homophobe, Islamophobe, and every other phobe there is. So I want to open up the floor to have you been following this and what you personally think the ramifications of this nomination. Do you think it can be blocked? Do you think that's even possible? Are we surprised? Are we not surprised? In general and specifically, what are your thoughts?
You know what? And there's a couple of ways that I'm looking at this. First, I'm not surprised by the pick. We know by now whenever your boy, when I say your boy, I mean y'all president, whenever he picks someone, he asks in private for their loyalty. And then he is in public mentioning the word loyalty over and over and over again. So when the pick said it's something to regard that he thinks the president should be untouchable, of course he would say that because he was probably already asked for his loyalty. And his loyalty was, he probably agreed on it in order to get the gig. Like, hey, I'm considering you, but I need your loyalty. Yeah, of course. Perfect. Done. There we are. And yes, I could go down the path of to say during election, we told y'all this was going to happen, and everybody brought up Supreme Court, and people were very short-sighted in the regards of just because they didn't like Hillary Clinton, they thought that was the end-all be-all. But there were at the time mentioning 2 or possibly 3 Supreme Court seats that will come open because what's the over?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Why can I not spot?
She damn near on life support, even though she's not, but she is getting up there. Was sick at one point where people were like, "Please don't die," because she's an older woman. But what I will say, and it's a cruel way to think about it, but sometimes the lesson has to be learned. As a generation that has been around, because we're not kids in the studio, we're not little. We've seen different iterations of presidents and different things happen. We've seen Bush, the second Bush. We've seen the bounce back to Obama. We've seen before Bush, Clinton, and then a few of us saw the first Bush. Some, and we remember Reagan from the discussion. We probably didn't sit and feel the blowback from Reagan, but remember it. In order for the younger generation to really understand the shitstorm that's about to happen, maybe you do got to take away Roe versus Wade.
Well,
maybe you do have to say, and yes, it's not their fault, and they didn't have a say in this election. But in order to hit rock bottom, you got to really hit it. And America hasn't hit rock bottom like this. We've hit it socially, but we ain't really hit it like this, where laws that have been on the books are about to really get taken away.
Well, the craziest part is that there's still so many people who don't even realize how bad it can be or how bad it will be. I was talking to somebody, and I think it goes back, Cornelia, that point you made about how people weren't riding with Hillary and how they were saying all these different things that she did without looking at the bigger picture. Because like she's saying, it wasn't just us who were saying on this podcast. If you were listening to the proper people and really trying to educate yourself, there were plenty of people who were alluding to the fact and flat out saying that, like Amelia said, there were positions that were going to become available soon that we need to make sure we have the right person in power to prevent the wrong people from getting in those positions, right? So was I shocked to your question, Sophia? No. Have I purposely been ignoring it? I tried, but I couldn't. And it's one of those situations where, unfortunately, the actions of a president outlast his term, his or what could have been her term. It outlasts. So the people who, I just have some people in my life who have said to me, and I think I had a conversation about this with y'all. I can't talk about this at work anymore. And there's just a conversation, and I was just trying to reiterate to somebody that it really is so important to realize that the president is only one person in power, but that's not the end all be all, and that's not what really affects change and it comes to a lot of things. But what the president has the power to implement and the people he has the power to put into certain positions can really affect. So this is going to possibly change the course of history. Usually a Supreme Court justice does. So it's honestly terrifying if I really think about it, but I think that's why I've been not really focusing on it, because
and I'm going to try to pull it up as I'm talking to you guys. And so even though I started off the topic talking about the fact that I've been fatigued, I think that, and I think it was Cornelia who said this months ago, I think what we have to do is we all need to figure out and almost do a personal inventory of what we care about, right? And so, yes, there is a collective caring about human rights in the totality, right? However, how that may manifest to you in your personal life may be specific. So it may be reproductive rights. It could be women's rights. It could be protection of children. It could be prison reform. There could be something specific that you are personally connected to. For me, the judicial system is something that I am personally connected to. So this has not allowed me to ignore it. And I think that the reason I feel like I cannot ignore it is exactly what you just said. I don't know off the top of my head, and I could look it up real quick, but if I was to make a guess, what is he, like 58, maybe 62 tops? He's on the younger,
early 60s.
Right. Yep. So that means, arguably, based on the ages of the current justices, that's 30 years, right? So if you think about it, that's, for a lot of people who are listening, that's either your entire lifetime, more than your lifetime, or probably at least half of your lifetime. And so therefore, we have to start to dig in and understand the totality of how our government works. And even though we may not be able to do anything now, you also need to know the lower courts and understand that a lot of those are also appointed by the president. Lastly, you have to communicate to your representative to fight. And specifically, I read a tweet today that gave me a sense of solace that Senator Kamala Harris said, Trump's Supreme Court Justice nominee, Judge Kavanaugh, represents a direct and fundamental threat to the rights and healthcare of hundreds of millions of Americans. I will oppose his nomination to the Supreme Court. And I think that's what we need to remember. The reason you elect people is to fight on your behalf, but you have to empower them or embolden them to do so. So you have to write, email, tweet, call your representative and tell them to fight this nomination, even if it means we have to fight them for the next 2.5 years.
All right, guys, if you're still buzzing, make sure to continue the conversation online and mix up us on Twitter and Instagram at @happyhour_TV.
Y'all know I've been talking about going to Essence Fest for the last. How long we been doing this podcast? Since before, but y'all started hearing this.
Yeah. We said it.
And this wasn't because of the movie Girl Trip. Because a lot of people were like, yo, Essence Festival was so dope this year. It's been dope.
It's always been.
It's been dope. I went to Essence Festival the year after Hurricane Katrina, and it was in Houston. It was dope then, and even that was kind of like, womp, womp, womp. Because Houston is huge. If you're from Houston, y'all know, y'all got a big city, and it's hard to get all of the events in one central location. It just didn't work. But a lot of people were down there living their best lives, having fun. Janet Jackson was one of the headliners for the weekend. Y'all know there's usually three nights on the main stage. Each night there's a different headliner. Queen Latifah did like a ladies first set where she had a bunch of like old school hip hop artists come out. Snoop Dogg performed and brought out all the whole gospel unit. He had out the Clark sisters, Kirk Franklin. He had a whole gospel number for his performance, so on and so on. There was also in the lounge a second set of performances that happened, but one in particular we'll get into in just a second. But what do y'all think about the Essence Festival, and are y'all finally on board for us going next year?
Listen, I've always been on board, okay? Here's the thing. I think realistically, I look at the finances. Facts. I look at my schedule.
Facts.
I think, and I will say this, I feel like this time next year, y'all can hold me to it. I feel like this time next year, we will actually be going to Essence Fest. I feel it.
Oh no, we going.
I feel it. Sophia, if you don't fix your face, Sophia,
you're not gonna
go? I'm not saying I don't want to go. I think the problem is now that I've seen it on the level of Girls Trip, I want to go on that level.
What, you want to be out here hooking? Because what you mean? That's not a normal. No, I got a couple like homegirls on social media who went, and that some of them were super tired. Like some of them.
But I mean in terms of the fact that even think about it, like the first hotel they stayed at, like they were hooked up.
Oh, you trying to be bougie with it?
Totally. I'm just being honest.
You just gotta book in advance.
Well, Kaleidoscope West on our live chat said, "Man, those tickets and packages go fast and early." So that's so here's the thing. Full transparency. We talk about a lot of things, and we eventually get to it. So, and when I say eventually, I mean
you're telling them to hold us accountable.
Yeah, hold us accountable at the same time, like. But when you say they go faster, how early is it? Like Coachella?
No, like now.
So let's say
I can't.
So
the minute they release the schedule,
release. So the Essence Festival overall, like the committee, they open up room blocks and they announce when it's going to be, the dates. As soon as they announce the dates, all of the hotels in New Orleans that are either in the French Quarter, downtown by Convention Center, they open up the room blocks for that. So there's a complete list. Essence sends out the whole list of hotels, contact information, how much they are per night. They're not, it's Louisiana, so it ain't that expensive. It ain't like LA.
Okay, I got family in Baton Rouge. I can drive every day.
That's too, no, you ain't, because you're going to be kicking it. People
no,
don't
yeah,
sleep.
no, you don't, you can't. No, it's a 72-hour party.
Yeah. Okay, so they open up the room block, you pick which hotel you want to be in, and granted, I don't know how it is post Girls Trip, but before, you can book months after they open up the room blocks because there's so many hotels.
What's your friend's travel site?
Gary?
Oh, Gary.
Catch up with G.
Okay, well, if we can go with him, I want to go.
Gary been talking about going too.
Okay, then yes, we're going.
Gary was talking about going last year. And
okay, so then I want to go if we go with him.
No, catch G if you can.
What did I say?
You said catch up with G.
Gary, I'm sorry for listening.
Catch G if you can.
No, because he travels like a boss.
I'm sorry.
He living my best. Like I'm
he
still
really
trying to
does.
go to Egypt. When are we going to Egypt? Forget Essence Fest. When are we going to Egypt?
No. We need to roll back. Because if we're not even going to Essence Fest, how are we going to Egypt?
Oh no, when I book my gig this year,
I'm
going around my birthday.
To be continued.
Y'all can tag along.
I want to hear.
My mom's 70th.
I want to hear about the drama. Okay, basically, y'all know we follow Shade Room, Boss, all these websites. Well, there is this video that was posted at first. You know, when you see a video, you start watching, you think that it's just the outlet that's being shady. So they posted this video of Brandy saying Brandy's letting us know that the song is hers, and she's like, "The boy is mine," and then she keeps going, and I'm like, okay, she still got it. And then she's like, at the end, she's like, "The song is mine," and she like really let people know. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this drama was gone like 85 years ago.
No.
What?
This is the problem. First of all, Brandy, that song came out 20-something years ago.
20-something.
What did Monica do to Brandy? Because Brandy has been in her feelings about this since the 90s. Literally. Monica, and if you talk to Monica, have a conversation and hear Monica talk about it, and you hear Brandy talk about it, they got two different sides of the story of the coin. But Monica seemed to not give a shit. Monica out here living her best life. She trying to keep up with these kids, and her husband, he back from overseas, he's hooping overseas. She is like, what are you talking about? But Brandy is on stage trolling.
Okay, but I think that's the reason.
Because she's trolling?
So, no, this is the problem is, and this is what happens, I think, a lot of times, especially with certain artists who came out like 20 years ago. If you think about it, okay, let me back up. If you think about what Brandy has done, so arguably they call her the vocal Bible, right? She had her show Moesha, literally, right, to 20 years ago, which was revolutionary. That, and she even had like a reality show, remember, about her getting pregnant, not being married, being married or not, right? So she had three major things that we would today think are major, right? However, we don't respect her as such. Think about it. The level of credibility we give her is not on par with those accomplishments. We actually, ironically, on some levels, put her on the same bar as Monica. And even though Monica is very talented, Monica doesn't have those other accolades. But we still even talk about them in the same conversation. So on some levels, I think Brandy thinks not only does she not get the accolades she should get in general, she also thinks, I mean, even the fact that, like, wasn't Kim Kardashian like her personal shopper or like her assistant?
Pause. The reason why we're talking about Brandy and Monica is because Brandy performed at Essence Fest and started all this drama. That's why.
Right, and it happened.
No, and this is a good thing. So Red True said, I feel like Brandy is using the old beef to keep herself relevant. And that is exactly my point. Yeah. Because she doesn't feel relevant. She doesn't feel relevant. And the difference is, to your point, Monica's out here living her best life. She's married, and I'm not saying not being married is anything to be upset about, but Brandy is not married. She's never been married.
Listen,
she kept her child a secret, or the daddy a secret, and so forth and so on. And so she kind of has to do that because I think she kind of wants in this new Instagram world. And the difference is Monica.
Yeah, you don't need to tear nobody down. I love Brandy. I love her music. I love Monica. I love her music. I just think, I love them both. I just want this squash to be. I will say, Devin said hello from New Orleans, and then he also said, because he lives in New Orleans, he said, I'm a bartender in the French Quarter, and I would love to mix up some cocktails for you all. So when we come, we will hit you up. And also, Kaleidoscope wants us to do a meet and greet if we do go. So I'm glad you guys think we are coming. So we are going to remember that.
What if we should do a live show?
Well, yeah, I'm down if we get there.
No, when we get there, I'm gonna use the power of our sound, so I will not be the negative Nelly.
Okay.
Pun intended.
When we get there,
we'll be there.
We will be there.
I don't even know how to say New Orleans.
Well, we're from out of town, so we can say New Orleans.
No,
okay, yeah, because I'm from way up north. Are you from over there, though?
Yeah, I just want one of y'all to come up to me and say, baby.
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. Well, in other news, LeBron James. As the resident sports expert here, you know what I'm saying? Because I ball on the court, you know what I'm saying? Straight hoop, straight fire. Straight fire.
Let me tell you a quick story. After church one day, there is a basketball hoop in our parking lot that we park in.
Oh!
And the Sunday after one Sunday, we walking back and it got into a basketball discussion of somehow. And we turned around because me and Gary, who's in town, were going to brunch. We turned around because AJ was like, look at your boy. Emil was trying to shoot.
Wait a minute.
What was your
Wait a minute. Trying? Wait, pause. Was I trying or was I doing?
You was trying.
Oh, wow.
You tried, boy.
Wow, she just tried it.
You was trying, boy.
It was a deflated basketball, but the point is, it went in. It went in.
What do they always say? Like, an eloquent person always blames their equipment.
It went in, but it still went in, though. Point being, LeBron James, it was announced last week, or was it last week while we were out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last week
that LeBron James is coming to the Lakers, and I immediately texted the group chat and said, I now want to go to a basketball game. I have never had a desire. I know, but you can't. I feel like that's history. That's LeBron James.
And those things started going for $500.
Oh, wait a minute.
Already at $500. I don't know how to feel about this. As a member of the Bron Hive, as a active seat holder in the King's Court, I do not feel comfortable rooting for LeBron in Los Angeles. Why? Because I don't like the Lakers. Partially because Laker fans always bring up Kobe Bryant when anything you talk about anything. It could be snowing outside, they'd be like, Kobe likes the snow. Who cares? Nobody asked you. So I don't like the Lakers, and this mesh just feels bad because now I gotta be like, go a Lake show, and I don't want to do that because I'm a fraud. However, I do got a lot of friends who were Laker fans who hated LeBron James, called him a clown, said he was a crybaby, a sucker. They had every name under the sun, and now they're slowly acting like they never said that at all. And now becoming a part of this whole Lake Show army with LeBron James. So I am now purposely tasked with trolling all of my friends. And I already started with my homegirl husband who was talking about, I said, hold on, boo-boo, you hate LeBron, so you can't cheer him. You are not welcome in the King's Court. The King's Court is here, okay? The King's Court is here. We will cheer on our boy, and you sit over there and keep hating on the sideline. Cheer for Lonzo.
Okay, I'm gonna start with your
daddy.
I'm gonna start with your Lakers reference.
I know that Lonzo Ball. That's right.
Oh, okay. So for me, my Lakers is Magic and Kareem. So my Lakers, so like Kobe's like second or third generation Lakers. That's not like the Lakers. And so I think what possibly could be happening is we're returning to that era of the Lakers. If in fact they curate the pieces properly. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they now have Rajon Rondo, they have it's still let me have my moment. So ironically, I think I live here in LA because of the Lakers. So I grew up in Boston and was a Lakers fan during the Magic Johnson era. That made me very unpopular. Yeah. So but with that said, I am conflicted for a different reason. I'm conflicted because I'm not sure why he came here. I don't know if he came here to win, which would be great, or if he came here potentially because he wants to get more into movies. And the reason being is he had his first public appearance in LA as a Laker. He was supposed to be at Blaze Pizza in Culver City, and he didn't show up. Not only did he not show up, but literally when he was supposed to be at Blaze Pizza in Culver City, he posted a picture, or either he or his wife posted a picture on their Instagram of him in his pool sitting on a little floaty, saying,
"Weren't they've been out of the country though?"
Then I don't care. Then you can't put on your Instagram you were going to do an appearance, meet me at Culver City, and then not show up. And that's your first public appearance here in LA. Because then what it says to me is you don't actually really care about us as fans.
This is what I think. You got to remember, LeBron is on the back end of his career. Yes, because he's so good, we still think that he's not his actual age. But LeBron, he has a son who was in high school now. Bronny goes to school. They registered Bronny in a school out here before LeBron even signed with the Lakers. And LeBron knows he can get to a certain point as far as NBA Finals or wherever he goes.
But Katie, because now he has to compete with Golden State from the beginning.
But he's still at least in the conversation. So I don't even think at any point, especially the way fans treat players and they're so flighty, I don't think when you sign anywhere that it's ever about the fans. It's never about the fans because the fans burned his jersey when he was in Cleveland. So if everything decision is about the fans.
No, but you don't not show up to appearances. That's unprofessional.
But from LeBron James standpoint, I don't think he probably doesn't. He got other stuff to like. He got.
Then you get up on your Instagram and say I'm not coming. That's disrespectful to literally tell fans you're going to be somewhere and your fans are going to ride with you. Especially, yeah.
Was it from his official account saying he's going to be there?
I wasn't like Blaze, like
fair enough. But I have to say though, and this is also partly why I'm conflicted because at the end of the day, regardless of what I just said. I just saw today on Media Blackout that Mr. LeBron James has officially become the 6th most charitable athlete in the world after donating over $41 million to send 1,100 students to college.
See,
exactly. But then the fans tore the mural down that was in LA, spray painted all of it, ripped the face off. Like, forget them. The King's Court is here.
You better preach.
Got your back.
Hey,
these
LeBron.
These Lake Show fans, they can do whatever. The King's Court is here.
James.
No.
James. No. All right. Who wants to start this Miss America topic?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I do.
General about there's been some changes.
No, also too. Don't we need that? Do we have another call to action with our personal Twitter so I can look at the little sheet?
Right. Oh, okay. Perfect. So you still buzzing after our conversation? Make sure you hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at Cornelia,
at Sophia Stanley,
and at Emil and his Junior, because I'm not a snack. I'm a meal. Y'all go ahead. I'm not a snack. I'm a meal. That's my thing.
OMG, I'm so slow. Y'all I really am slow. So my bad.
Like food.
Okay. So what's going on with Miss America is the very, very short version is the Miss America pageant is pivoting. And by pivoting, I mean they are starting to focus more on intelligence and less on aesthetic beauty. Right. And so there is a debate going on, A, whether or not they should do so, and B, whether or not this is symptomatic of the Me Too movement, i.e., because we now have a shift in power and therefore more women have a seat at the table. Some people feel like judging women purely off of their aesthetics or predominantly off of their aesthetics is not something that serves women and therefore needs to be changed. And so that is really the overall discussion of, it's really a two-part question, whether or not Miss America should negate or lessen their focus on aesthetic beauty. And then I think the overall question is whether or not focusing on aesthetic beauty harms or hurts women, and or whether or not that should be in the control of the women to decide. And it's not really up for public fodder or public debate.
This is an interesting one because, well, one, if you watch the Miss America pageant, it's always a couple dingbats that sneak through anyway. You be like, how you even get past the state competition? It always is some dingbats. So I see trying to at least weed out people who are there. And they don't be that. They be just, they be cute. But you're like, girl, how you even get here? Because maybe there were no other people in the state pageant, to compete with. Or you can kill it in one area, maybe talent or the personal interviews, and you just do okay in the others. Some people's bodies don't be that killer. You know what I mean? So it's, when you watch the pageant, yes, they have a lot of makeup on and the gowns are elaborate. But when you really look at them, some of them are regular girls. Some of them they don't be like out here. They ain't a bunch of like bags. Some of them be like, oh, okay, cool. I will say though, and this is from coming from an HBCU. There was one year at a pageant, and this was after I graduated, where, and at HBCU, anybody can enter the Miss whatever pageant, the Miss Hampton pageant. One girl who, there was like a plus size girl. There was a girl who was popular, all kinds of girls. When I tell you the plus size girl kicked their ass, she whooped their asses. And I'm watching online live stream because I had a little sister in the competition. She whooped their ass. And at that moment I was like, because at HBCU it ain't really about looks. You gotta kill that question and answer. You gotta kill that bathing suit. You gotta kill the talent. You have to be across the board. She walked out in that bathing suit like she whooped their ass. So in that regard, I'm not mad that Miss America is opening up to do more, because they're gonna start to show if you really go by qualifications and confidence, whoever in it, they're probably gonna be whooping their ass. So I'm interested to see them really stack up girls who have the brains, have the confidence, and maybe not be the best in the best shape or the best looking girl, and kicking all these little girls' asses. I think it will do something for consciousness, but does it have to be on the backs of Me Too? Because to me, that ain't got nothing to do with women feeling like they've been harmed in some way.
Well, I think,
like, I don't think, to me, those two aren't connected.
It was just because whoever, I did a story on this at Clever like a couple weeks ago, whoever just became the, what's her name?
Yes, her name is Gretchen Carlson.
Gretchen Carlson. So the whole thing is she was sexually harassed, or she was harassed by her former boss over at Fox News, and she won a lawsuit. And so I think because she had that experience, that's kind of what ushered in the change. And she was on an email from, because she was a former, and excuse me if I'm getting these details wrong, but she was a former either Miss America or Miss whatever from her state. And there was an email going out internally from the Miss America organization that was leaked, and where they were pretty much talking about the girls. And that's what caused all of those people to be pushed out. So those people were pushed out, and then they replaced them with pretty much an all-female.
And what were they talking about?
Pretty much talking about either their looks or that they were stupid, like things like that. But I think because of Gretchen's former experience with her Fox News boss and that harassment, on top of the Me Too movement, I see what you're saying, Camelia, how it shouldn't be connected, but since she's in charge, it is.
Well, can the same thing happen in now with LA and Hollywood and casting?
100%.
Because you saw what happened when the hack happened, when we saw the hack and all the leaked emails,
yep.
And you can literally get pulled off a show because they don't like your hair.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you're gaining weight. You go to the gym. Like it's that kind of business. So is this now? And but I mean, I don't know. I don't mind having it look good. I don't know.
I would say when it comes to, and Sophia, I want to hear if you want to chime into this. When it comes to the casting conversation, I think I'm a little different when it comes to that, only because what you just said was if they're gaining weight and they do something different to their, what did you say, gaining weight?
They can like your hair color or something.
Well, but some
of that's relevant.
Yeah,
some of
it's the project.
Some of that's relevant.
I don't mind it.
But I think okay, yeah. And I think to your point is, and I'm not going to put a disclaimer on this. I think that oftentimes we don't view aesthetic talent in the same way that we view other talents, right? So I will be very honest with you. Maybe I'm thinking about this because of World Cup. So I played soccer my freshman year of college and basically was on a partial soccer scholarship. And everyone was like, oh my God, you must have been amazing. You must have been whatever. I was like, no, I'm just genetically gifted athletically. And that's just like the truth. Like how I like came out of the womb and my body type, I'm just naturally athletic. So in general, every sport I've ever played, I'm good at up until a certain point. And so therefore I was able to use that to basically get a scholarship to a school that like wasn't that good. But then also because I also was academic, I was able to combine the two of those together. But arguably, if you ask me, did I ever try hard at soccer? Did I practice harder than other people? No, I didn't. Number one. Number two, this is going to be a little bit TMI. Same thing arguably with intelligence. I have smart parents. It's probably genetic. There's a certain aspect of my intelligence. It's just kind of how I breathe. In the same way that some people are really good looking.
Right.
Now, arguably, someone who is really good looking and makes their living off of being good looking still has to try. Like you don't just like wake up and be like, I'm good looking and then that's it. Right. Normally you have to work out. You have to, if you're a model, you have to know your angles. If you're an actress, you still have to have a skill set and so forth and so on. In the same way, talking out of the other side of my mouth, if you're intelligent, you normally also have to do something to hone that intelligence. But the actual nugget, the gift, normally you didn't do anything for the gift. How you utilize the gift is something else. So I just say that to say that we need to be kind of cognizant. I think it's usually so easy for us to basically be like, oh, she's pretty, she's stupid, she doesn't work for it. When it's like, no, there's something to be said to use that talent or to use that commodity in the same way that someone else uses their physical ability, or they use their intelligence, or they use that they work harder than somebody else. So I say that to say, in the same way that if you have, let's say, a strongman competition and you have to lift 800 pounds, what if someone's like, oh, that's not fair because I can't lift 800 pounds. I only want to lift 100 and I want to be able to compete. So there is a certain aspect, like rules are rules and guidelines are guidelines, like create your own pageant. I say that to say that I do like that they're expanding it because there are multiple variables and some of those variables already included intelligence. So I don't mind the shifting around of the thing, but I do think we need to be very careful of all of a sudden thinking it is unfeminist to trade on the commodity of your aesthetic beauty as a woman, when arguably that's what makes you a woman.
Let me ask you quick though. Didn't they also say something about changing and swapping out not only the bathing suit competition, but attire in general, or was that?
Because then that's a different competition. Then rename it something else.
Like, you wear the pantsuit? Like, what we wearing?
But even that though, that upsets me because who says one's attractive and one's not attractive?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So to me, even to your point earlier, with let's say the plus size girl, I think she should be able to enter because my argument would be beauty
because if you win Miss Hampton, then you can compete in Miss Virginia.
And I like that. And this is why, because I actually have a different argument. My argument is beauty is subjective. So the difference is she probably was gorgeous. She probably, and that's my point. But to not include that in the criteria, then potentially make a different pageant.
I feel that. All right, guys. So, for those of us who are in the live chat, thank you so much for chiming in.
Like, oh my god.
If you see me, so if you are watching, you'll see me brushing my eyebrows. It's very therapeutic. I just found my brush, y'all. I lost this brush.
Is that the one that I gave you and you threw it in the backseat?
It really is. I used to do that too. It really is.
It's very therapeutic, and this is the one. Okay, moving on.
What's wrong with us, y'all?
Listen.
No, we're having a moment today.
I
was gonna go.
And we didn't even have no drinks. Okay, so
I'm about to drink later though.
Hope you guys are enjoying the 1 hour long show. And make sure you tell a friend. You know what you're doing. Why did I read that in the voice? Like, what you doing, man? Okay, so the next topic. TV shows. Let's talk about Power, though. That's my show. That's my show. Okay, wait. Full transparency, though. Okay. So I have a list of shows now. Why are you shaking your head, Amelia? I have a list of shows now that I'm going to watch, okay? And Power has been on that list. Power
been on that list.
Okay, but listen. Okay, so Power has been on that. Wait, Sophia, you watch it?
No. She be quiet.
No, she be quiet. But you see how the funny thing is that something? Obviously, he's the snitch. No, on the real, right? I'm sitting here minding my own goddamn business, right? And then this fool, I didn't chime in. I didn't be like, yo, why the hell are you talking? And all of a sudden you finna look over at me and be like, yo, did you watch?
And
really?
No, and I be letting
really?
I be looking at her at the corner of my eye. Yo! But you quiet, so
okay. Right?
There was something that I've been seeing, like memes and stuff. I know that on the latest season, what's her name? The girl from 3LW, her son on the show is bad. I saw that.
Bad the whole time.
Okay, well, just so you know,
the worst.
I be watching. I see stuff. So I know 50 Cent. He on the show still?
Yes.
Okay.
Write yourself off
See, Power.
Okay, first of all, for y'all that know me, y'all know that's my show. Okay. I used to do the recaps on AfterBuzz. We had the actors and some of the producers, writers from the show. We had Joseph Shakora, who plays Tommy, come in. Courtney Kemp, who is the showrunner and EP. We had Gary Lennon, who just got bumped up to co-showrunner. He was a writer and producer at one point. We've interviewed everybody except Notori. Well, I didn't get Notori. She was there the first season. And Omari Hardwick, and the girl who plays Angela Valdez, which I can't stand Valdez. But bottom line is, that's my show. I've given up on Emil and Sophia because y'all ain't gonna watch.
What kind of friend just gives up?
More show.
What?
Because you wanna know why? Because she's holding us accountable. I'm not watching that.
I ain't watching.
Right? Yeah, she gave us from last year. We had a whole summer. It's on right. Isn't it even on? I think Netflix. It's on Hulu. It's on Hulu. Like so. Like really, just keep it real.
How many seasons are we in now?
5.
Okay.
I'm not watching.
They're not gonna watch. This is what happens though, because this happened to me with The Wire.
I know it's 5 seasons.
Right, it's like first season was only like 6 or 8 episodes.
And then what's the next seasons?
The rest are like 10 episodes. You're not gonna watch. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, and I'm not saying it's as good as The Wire because it's not, but Power was one of those shows, especially after the first 2 seasons, where it was kind of word of mouth. People were like, "What is this?" Yeah. That's how I found out about it. People kept talking about Power, and that's what 50 Cent was trolling, telling everybody he was like, "It's nothing like Empire. We better than Empire." And people were like, talking and comparing. And when I watched it, I was like, "That's my show." I watched the first season in like 2 sittings.
But can I ask a very silly question?
Yes.
Why did he even make the Empire Harrison. So yes, I
to
know.
get people talking.
Right, but it has no. It's not even connected.
But it
Right.
did get
It
people
got people
talking
watching.
and got
Because
people interested.
At the time, Empire was the biggest show on
Yeah.
TV,
Okay,
and
fair
people were
enough.
like, "Is it the same?" And then when you watch it, you're like, "No, this is better."
Okay.
I just need there's a website called Binge Clock. I'm gonna put in Binge Clock Power, and it's gonna tell me how many hours it take to watch it, and I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna come into the studio and be like, "Yo, we talking about all the characters, and you talking about Tommy, and we talking about
Ghost.
Ghost. Oh yeah, Ghost.
Who is the main?
Who's the main character? Omari Hardwick. Duh.
Oh, you guys, I worked with him before, like years ago, when I used to host the I'm blanking, the Lexus,
Oh yeah.
No, he's to say he's a professional is an understatement. Like he is the utmost of professional, and his energy, he is just like a really, really, really good dude. I hate when people say that to be like, whatever, I worked with him like 3 times, but still, like he's a really, really, really good dude.
He's fine.
Yeah, so other shows, our show Insecure is coming back.
Oh, hey.
Side note, Daniel, the dude who plays Daniel, he was in the Purge.
Oh yeah, the first Purge. Have you seen the new Purge?
I didn't know.
No, I saw the commercial. Yeah,
I want to see it. I want to see it. No, Insecure is coming back. I'm so excited. Shout out to my friend Lacey Mosley. She was in the trailer. She had a little small part on this new season, so I'm excited to see that. No, Insecure. You already know once that comes back, we're gonna have it's a wrap.
Yeah, no. Everybody in the chat is basically on my side with this. Some people say they not watch, but they said, "Oh, you're not gonna watch."
So, not gonna watch what?
One funny, lovely, like no, you're not. We like, I'm gonna watch.
Oh,
no,
they talking about Power.
But Insecure. No, that's coming back. That's our show.
And the trailer. It's because the trailer just dropped, and I feel like we lost our proverbial mind.
Yeah.
What happened? I saw the trailer. I don't remember what.
Basically, Issa is trying to figure out what she's gonna do with her living situation, and my favorite part is her friend's pretty much like, but your bank account doesn't allow for you to, like, what are you talking about?
With Daniel.
Yeah, she lived with Daniel, but she hasn't caught feelings. She says it's gonna be good.
It's so funny. My sister always says it. My sister always is like, that chick ain't insecure. She might be awkward, but she's not insecure. Like, no, because also doesn't the trailer basically like she claims they're not knocking boots?
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like at
Do
first
you believe that?
I think at first they weren't.
It depends
but either way, she's
okay.
still gonna be sleeping on that couch.
Okay, fair enough.
Be on the couch.
Fair enough. But this is the thing though. Part of why I love this show is because it feels so authentic. So you know how we sometimes be like telling our friends we say things about like our dudes or who we're dating that isn't really true. Like she seemed like she said it like, "Yo, y'all, I ain't even really sleeping with him." And part of me is like, "Are you thinking about his house?" Like I'm not saying that because you live in someone's house you need to sleep with them, but like let's get real. Like
why not? Have you seen Daniel?
Daniel's
isn't that the truth?
Daniel's fine. Wait, low key Daniel. Okay, so if you follow us on Patreon, you've probably seen that every Sunday we go to church together. Every single Sunday, he go to our church.
What? Have you? Okay, so wait, time out. Let me pause. Sorry. Okay, you know what? I just don't want to get myself in trouble. Just for whoever is listening and whoever is listening knows who I'm talking about. I don't know what they're talking about. I would never approach or whatever. So I'm just keeping 100.
Our church.
AJ was with me.
Why you didn't tap me on the show?
Were you guys there?
I go every Sunday.
Yeah, she goes every Sunday.
We parked in the parking lot and we were crossing the street and I whispered to AJ, I said, "Oh, that's so and so," and he was there.
Coming up the 9.
He was going into the 11. He was going into the same service.
Sure it was him?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy to mistake.
Yes.
And if it doesn't matter, don't matter because the boy that
it was him.
Fun.
And that's why I'm mad at Chase in it because I saw T'Challa at church and I told.
When did you see T'Challa?
She did.
You weren't there that Sunday.
Wow.
He was there in the back taking notes on the sermon.
Oh, you did tell. Yeah. Listen,
but also
we trying to get in to get the word of God.
So that is true. No, that is true. But also, this is the thing about Daniel and also too, you all know that I actually
pulled over name.
You know that on the real.
You, brother.
I can't.
Happy Sunday, my king. Did you receive the word properly? He showed it. He did his thing, didn't he? You know, there's a podcast where you can listen back in fellowship. Are you in a small group?
I can't.
What small group is it?
Y'all come get your friend.
Thinking about joining.
Come get your friend.
The Lord is with you.
Mm-mm.
God bless you. I will see you next Sunday.
Same
time, brother. God bless you. What
was that voice, Cornelia?
I'm done.
I am done.
How you doing, brother? God is good.
My gosh.
That's our church auntie voice.
God is good.
God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good.
Same time.
Yo, I've been wanting to do a parody video of did you ever have in your church? At the Toxic Ramen. Yeah. Did you ever have at your church the praise dancers? They be doing the most.
Yeah, have you not seen the praise dancers yet?
Oh no, I don't. Oh no, I haven't seen our dancers.
Our dancers,
but
professional dancers.
I just they weren't professional in my church. It was my dancers would take it literally, and like whatever the words were saying, like it wouldn't be an interpretation. It would be like literally whatever it's saying.
Our professional dancers be doing like eating hard. Yeah. Our dancers.
Okay. First of all,
okay, Love Is too. We gotta talk about Love Is.
Okay, but beforehand. Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, we gotta go on.
Love Is also a new show. It's on Shout out to my boy Jerron who wrote last night's episode.
How many episodes we in on this show?
4. Okay. And I've only caught up to 2 episodes because your girl be in her feelings.
Okay.
It's about pretty much Mara and Salim Akil and how they met, their love story. It's based around it. But when I tell you it's a pure love story. I found myself watching it and yelling and clapping like, yes. But they got me in my feelings, so I had to talk.
Let me add it to the list.
The girl was in it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that. So a year ago, I went to a panel discussion, and ironically, the panel discussion was about love, and Mara Brock and Salim Akil were on it, and so they talked a lot about what it means for them to work together, and also to what it means for them to put their relationship and their family as a priority. So even, for instance, like in terms of traveling, like making sure they're either traveling together or that they spend as much time together as possible. But what I also notice is, you know, when you sometimes like you watch a couple and you kind of gain nuggets from them. Mm-hmm. So what I gain from them is they organically respect who the other person. Importantly, they respect who the other person is also as it relates to their craft. So you know how, and I'm going to speak for myself, oftentimes I think in this town, it is oftentimes hard to date or be in a relationship if you have a dream that is bigger than a normal dream, if that makes sense, right? Because you have to dedicate time and energy and so forth and so on. And oftentimes, selfishly so, someone cannot necessarily be committed to that time that you allot to something else, right? You arguably have another boyfriend or a girlfriend, which is your dream. What I notice from them is they are 100% okay with that person putting that other thing first because they know that it will then make the person a better person, which will then make them a better spouse. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so therefore, I feel like what we are seeing on screen is we are seeing the evolution of that. We're seeing how that actually manifests, that two people can kind of be, it's going to sound like a weird thing to say, so broken, yet so whole. So broken in the pursuit of being whole that they can fall in love the way that we're seeing them fall in love. And I think that's why it's hitting me the way that it's
girl, it had me in my entire feelings.
What it had you in your what?
Entire.
In your feelings? Because if we're going to talk about something, we need to talk about Drake's new album, though! Why y'all ain't hype like me?
Because I only like parts of each side. There are 2 sides, A and B.
What? Sophia, I'm done. I am done.
He could have trimmed fat on both of those and made one album.
Listen.
How many tracks?
A gazillion, girl. There's 2 sides. Two albums.
It's 2 sides.
So
Listen. I love Drake. Is it my favorite album? No. Take Care is still my favorite album. Probably always will be. But I will say I was with you, Cornelia. It's one of those albums where, because there are certain albums from Drake where literally every song I'm riding with. If not every song, at least 95%. This album was not that album. However, there were enough songs on there that I added to my workout playlist where I can ride with it. Now, in my feelings when I initially heard it, I was just like, okay.
Now this is Kiki.
Yeah.
Do you love me? Are you raining?
When I first heard it, though, I was like, okay, it's cool. But I went to the next song because I was listening to the whole album. After the Shiggy Challenge started, though, that song got taken to a whole nother level. Literally that song, I went out after work the other night because sometimes I'll go right next door, have a little drink after I serve. And I just took a sip of the drink. I wasn't even tipsy or nothing. That song came on. When I tell you I was in there, like with that song,
Millie rocking,
and the DJ literally paired that with Nice for What, and then he went into some other song, and I was living my best life. There's another song on there that gets me hyped at the gym. Have you heard Summer Games?
Am I on the song on the album? Yeah.
When the beat comes in, though, I be wanting to do like the.
I gotta listen again.
Listen again.
Going through it, it just most of it don't really hit me. Like there's a few other songs where I'm like, like 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. When that come on, I'm like, you're yelling. But most of the other ones.
And this is the thing is though, this is gonna sound random, but despite the fact that I haven't listened to one song, it's like 7 out of the songs are on the Billboard Top 100. So like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I've listened. No, but really,
that's like, almost Beyonce's and Jay-Z's whole album.
Totally. And so
I'm still bumping to the fullest.
But I say that to say that one of the things that I think that Drake is excellent at doing is he is good at being on top.
Yeah. Always in the summer. Always in the summer too.
Totally. And so I say that to say that it's like he recovered from that Pusha T thing so well because honestly, like I don't really care because part of me is like, you still making hits, you still making money, and also too now I'm also looking at things because it's reminding me of things. Simply God's Plan. So you haven't listened to the album, but just literally to have, I think to be in the environment and to be in the culture that we are in now. To me, to take time to not only have one of the songs be a song like God's Plan, but to have the way that he did the video behind it, like on some levels, you can kind of just like drop the mic and keep walking because it just shows you can do that and still be successful in the way that he is successful. And maybe also we're not his target market.
I'm his target market. I love you, Drake. Go ahead. All right, guys. So first of all, I want to give some to our Patreon contributors. So this shout out goes to some of our segment producers. And if you are on Patreon, you'll see that if you are in the highest tier, I'm talking about the Okay, I See You. All of you patrons who are in Okay, I See You tier, you have the ability to submit topics to us. And so every single thing that we talked about in the show today was submitted from some of our Patreon contributors. And I want to give you a special shout out right now. So today's cocktail was curated by, and if I butcher your name, I'm so sorry, Funda Farrell, Kamara Harrington, Lord have mercy, it might be Kamara Harrington, Kanika Bass or Bass, Devin Chillo or Chillow, and Carletta Carter. And if you notice, this shot of conversation was a little strong and happy hour was extended. So make sure if you really like this episode, this 1 hour long episode, you like the live aspect, you like being able to submit topics, go to patreon.com/happyhour_TV and then you can do that too. You heard me? You heard me?
Now's the time for last call.
Let's start off.
So I'll start off. Mine is also a call to action, and it's a call to action to be an active citizen. Make sure that you have a sound that resonates change. Register to vote and hold your candidates accountable. Two people in particular I wanted to give a shout out to, or more importantly, just tell you to start to watch. These are two people who are actively involved in resisting 45. The first is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who defeated 10-term Republican incumbent in New York's 14th congressional district. She's only 28. She, to me, is the future of America. She, in all shapes and forms, her background, her age, the way in which she uses her voice to champion for those less fortunate and who do not have a voice. She is someone that we need to watch. And the other person we need to watch is Democratic strategist Zach Patinkas. And so really, again, use your voice, resist, and more importantly, we have the midterms coming up in less than 4 months. So vote, register, vote, demand that change comes.
All right, so Funda for real corrected me in the live chat. It is Funda for real.
What did you say? I
said Funda. I don't like getting people's names wrong because people be saying my name all types of wrong. Yeah, like fun. Yeah. Funda for real. So hopefully I said that right that time. So my last call, I just want to say that I am grateful to these two lovely ladies for inviting me to our church months ago. Actually, they've invited me for years, but I just started going over the past couple of months, every single Sunday with them. And it is truly one of the highlights of my week. And we get a word every single Sunday. I feel like I don't go to church trying to get anything. I just go there because, one, I want to hang out with my friends, but also because I love our pastor. I love the community. And it really, each week I go there and I'm surprised every single week at how it connects and how it hits. And there were a lot of things that hit home this week. And yeah, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful.
We got to mention that Cardi B had her baby.
Oh yeah, she sure did.
Named her Culture something.
Culture? Kiari Stevens.
Yeah, okay. To be continued. Also,
and Culture with a K.
Culture with a K.
Actually, that's going to be to be continued on our after show right after this.
Also, for everybody who failed to vote in the election the way, and I won't say should because you're entitled to your own opinion, but in favor of people who like to be on the side of progressiveness, I will be sure to volunteer you first to be picking cotton when they got us back in the field. He want to pick, guys. He want to pick cotton because we're going to be picking cotton again. Not that extreme. However, a lot of the rights that we have will be. Sophia got 2 passwords. She out of here. Sure. But just so you know, we are now living in a time where it will be considered, and not even to troll, pre-Trump and post-Trump. So that's how drastic things are going to get. And also, thanks everybody for watching Power with me. And I'm trying to do recaps on my Instagram. IGTV,
okay.
So I'm going to do a Power recap. So tune in.
Can you do one from season 1 to now?
Boy.
Okay, well, our last call happy hour VIPs for this episode. So we have another tier where you can be a contributor and you get a shout out. So our 2 shout outs for this episode are Sean Irvin, sorry, I can't say names, and Ahmad Abdul Kadir. So thank you so much for being one of our Patreon contributors. I can't remember what the second level is, but thank you so much for being a contributor. And you are a happy hour. No, that's the 7. I can't remember what it is. Well, we are tired. But you are our happy hour VIP for this episode. In addition to our wonderful segment producers for this episode, we thank you guys so much. And an additional way to be a happy hour VIP that's completely free is if you go to iTunes, rate, comment 5 stars, and you could potentially be a happy hour VIP as well.
Just because it's last call doesn't mean that you get the last word.
Well, guys, that's the end of the show. Unless you are Velvet Rope and Above, we about to do a quick 5-minute after show talking about Cardi B, and we'll post that on the page tomorrow. But let's go ahead and end the real show. So if you feel that last call came too soon, make sure to continue the conversation online at happyhour_TV. Where can everyone reach you guys?
At Sophia Stanley, Twitter and Facebook, at the Sophia Stanley on Instagram.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Cornelia. Also got shows coming up. Check the website at Cornelia.com.
You heard me. And you can find me at Emil Ennis Jr. on pretty much everything. Guys, it was so much fun. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to the live stream. I will not be here next week because I will be hosting a new show. It's a food and travel show. I can't announce it yet, but I will be shooting that next week. So I will be out of town. But wish me luck. Send me good vibes. And I know my 2 girls will hold it down. We love you guys. See you next week. I be forgetting they can't hear the music.
Brandy who?
Oh, is that Brandy who? Yeah. Ooh, your body. Ooh, oh.
Why you didn't tell me that Brandy was at church?
I thought y'all knew.
How do we know if you didn't tell us?
I could have sworn I told y'all. Were we not there that day? You know, we be coming late. So I think we were just trying to get inside.
I wasn't there.
It might have been.
Why you ain't text me?
It might have been. I don't remember.
Because I told y'all to try.
Oh, God is so good.
I said to try.
God is good.
And I need to make a scene.
God is good.
He's with his little girlfriend now.
Okay.
Why you ain't tell me that?
Listen.
He be here every week.
All right.
The first time I'm seeing?
That was the first time I'm seeing. Guys, we're about to stop the live broadcast. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna do a quick after show, but we're gonna stop the this is our first time doing, or should we just go? Because they're already. Do we need to do a separate after show or just do it on here?
Oh, you mean we have to stop and then do it?
Or should we just make it part of this?
This is part of this. Is that plugged in? We can plug it more out. Or are we?
Or it's just 5 minutes.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So
Cardi B.
Cardi. Cardi. She did it for the culture. Literally, she named her child Culture. And then it's Culture. I forget the name already. Kiari Cephas. And that is, so the Kiari Cephas part, that is Offset's real name. And then.
Oh, wait, his name is Kiari?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is his name Kiari?
Yeah, Kiari Cephas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then I actually would have preferred if it was Kiari Culture Cephas.
Well, he got other kids. They were already prior to it.
Oh.
That's shady. But
I omit. So
funny thing is, I didn't even catch a shade until she said it. Shady.
So I had to write a story today for Clever, and in the story, I literally said, because I was reading all these outlets, and they were like, "This is Cardi's first child, and Offset's fourth," and I was like, "I ain't putting that in there. I can't do that to my fellow brother." But she's right. She is. She's right.
But also too, this is gonna sound weird, but there shouldn't even be any judgment with that.
There isn't,
right? The only judgment should be like, as long as he takes care of his kids.
Yeah.
He does take care of his
kids. Yeah, as long as he takes care of his kids.
Some people have 10 kids with like one person, and I think that's weird.
Listen, I'm not
on the real. I'm not trying to be funny. If you have 10 kids, with one person, like that's weird too.
How do you feel about Culture as a fellow K name person?
Well, I haven't been a fan of my name. It's okay now. But I wanted to change my name to Kimberly when I was a kid. Because having a name like Cornelia, you get picked on, you get talked about, they cut your name off on the school roster. So when parents name their kids names, I always take issue when they like the name, but they don't think is the kid going to like the name long term.
Did you ever have, because I have one, did you ever have like a moment where you really like owned up to your name when you were younger? Like you finally had a moment where you were like, I'm proud of this?
Not really. I mean,
that's fair though.
Not really, because it is. That's my name, and it's Kenny and Ophelia. So I understand what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. But my parents ain't long sighted. Like they're not like, okay, well now what's this gonna mean? Like, people pronounce it when she say it. How it's gonna go off the tongue when people hear it. They didn't do that. So it was because people still act like they can't understand now. Mm-hmm. You can say Matthew McConaughey and George Stephanopoulos, but you can't say Cornelia.
It's true. Well, because also too, I mean, it's because we also have like a perceived ethnic bias when it comes to names. Mm-hmm. So ironically, it's funny that you say that because I think I'm the exact opposite because I think my parents very much thought about it. So it's like my sister were named Sophia and Nadia.
Yeah.
Which
very
is like
simple, runs off
the tongue. It's very easy. And then also too, I don't know, I feel like we talked about this years and years and years and years ago. It's also too, arguably, people know you're black. Or they're going to assume you're black simply because of your name. I
never had no problem with it. Yeah. They could have named me Keisha. I would have rocked with it.
Well, do you think if you were Kimberly Stradwick, they would know that you're black?
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't that it would sound black. It's just you can't pronounce it, and people always like, "What's it mean?" It's always an explanation.
They always want an explanation.
And it's annoying.
Yeah. For mine, my name,
I like that it's Canadian Field.
It was the spelling of the name that was kind of the issue. That makes sense. Like it's not hard to say Emil. It's not that hard to say, but it was the spelling of the name because my grandfather was Ameal, so it's very clear what it was. And then my dad is Emil too, but he spelled it like my name, and then I have this. But the moment that I had where I finally was proud of it, because the issue I had was growing up in class, the teacher would read Emily. So to have Emily and then last name Ennis, she would read it Emily Enos. So then it would be like people would say penis, and like that caused an issue right there.
And then kids would bark.
See?
Oh, did you punch him in the throat?
Well, it was always funny. So it was like, and that was cool. So I'd be like, shut your ass up. And
I didn't know what to do. So that was the issue. But it was, I think, sophomore year or junior year, there was a moment where the counselor, it was for an honor ceremony, and the counselor said,
this is much better.
He literally said, calling all the names, he said, Emily Ennis. And I don't know what came over me. I was a nerd, y'all. I don't know what came over me, but I hopped up and I literally said, hello, friend. Hi.
There's a dog.
We got a little dog in the studio.
There's a dog in the studio.
Hello. I will pick you up, but I don't know how friendly you are. So anyway, he said Emily Ennis, and I swear, I got up and I was like, it's Emil. And then I did the black coward fist. Guys, I don't know what I was thinking. Why did I get a full applause? But it wasn't. It was because it was honor ceremony. It was all nerds, and they like knew my name. They're like.
Yay to nerds.
Yeah, that's my story. So anyway, I think culture is a beautiful name.
Do you?
One of my questions I want to know before we wrap this: Do you think that?
Jerry Lynn Victoria said, and I apologize if I in fact butchered your name. It does. It was never that I. Okay.
I don't know.
Geraldine? Is it just Geraldine?
Yeah, it does. It was never that I didn't like my name, but I was already ready to fight about the pronunciation of my name.
Oh yeah,
that's true. Well, because it's who you are.
Yeah.
So it's part of your identity. So I think if people get your identity wrong, it is very personal. Like it hits you harder than not.
I wanted to know. One of my last things is: do you think, because when it comes to celebrity names, like once one celebrity, especially a major celebrity, names their child a certain thing, do you think there's going to be more cultures now?
100%.
I don't know, because are there more baby Futures?
Probably.
And Future at one point was just as big as the Migos. It still is.
I bet we should look. Let's add that to the list. Look up, because if we look up, you can look up the popularity of baby names by years or whatever, and see if Future ended up being the popular baby name.
I'm all for the different.
I like Future names.
I actually do
I
like
don't
Future
like
too.
Future because,
but not as a first name.
Right, as his first name, and then it's named after his daddy. Not even his daddy real name. Like, it's just I just think it's just weird. And then she don't even fool with Future no more. Like, you don't even fool with the dude you named him after.
That's
like,
true.
No.
But they were
yelling out his name.
No, but that's still the father of his father.
She be taking him to court because he don't even kick it with the baby. Like, you don't even.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because also too, on some level, it's still his biological father, and like you a grown up, so like you lay with someone, their father's their father regardless.
Yeah.
Have we ever talked about that? Oh, maybe, I guess we have, ages ago.
Well, guys, first of all,
make better decisions.
You guys are wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much for staying up. I know, especially East Coast, it's 11 something your time, so thank you so very much for watching. Like I said, we're working out the kinks of our live stream, so this is our first little test. But let us know what you like, what you want to see more of, what you loved, and just give us feedback. We obviously listen. If you're watching this right now, a lot of you submitted topics today, so we really do appreciate that. So just let us know, and yeah, we'll be back next week.
Bye.
Why?
Bye. Adios.
Oh, will you click stop broadcast? Oh no, it's not touching.
Oh.
Sophie, I can't.